Right, okay, so let's have an Atlantis card for Thursday, and to see how we're doing post-shift with our shifting, with our creation, our collective creation. Education, oh yes, I love that card. Okay, quick look. Beautiful, right, so the card says, in Golden Atlantis, a trained priest would examine a child's aura to discover his or her inborn gifts and talents, which were then developed. The learning temples were peaceful, quiet places where relaxation was induced by appropriate music and colour to open the right brain of the students. The priest would telepathically impart spiritual knowledge directly into his or her mind. He or she could also absorb information directly into the third eye from certain crystals into which higher priests or the magi had programmed specific information. So, that is a very innovative and revolutionary way of learning, isn't it? However, we are constantly learning from Source, from Creator, from God in the very same way. If we stop to listen, then it will become much more apparent what we're being taught. And isn't it interesting? I know that so many more people, and I'm having conversations about this a lot more with students, with clients, with friends, are noticing that they wake up out of dreams knowing that they've been to school during the night, knowing that they've been with their team, they've been with their guides, they've been with their soul families, or with Creator, with the archangels and angels, learning things or updating the knowledge of on what's been happening during that day or that week or that month, and meeting with their soul groups and discussing how collectively we're all going to be working, maybe not even together physically on the earth plane, but what each of us is working on, what energy we're bringing, how we're learning, how we might be learning from each other, how we might be connecting at a distance, how we might be learning about non-locality, how we might be learning about telepathy and attraction. And all of these things are really, really relevant because a great deal of our learning does take place beyond the physical dimension. So it's important to acknowledge the learning that does happen automatically just as a consequence of being alive and experiencing, and it's also important to acknowledge that higher learning, those other ways of accessing infinite consciousness and therefore infinite knowledge. So perhaps it's a good day to do a little bit of a meditation when we just intend that we will allow education to come through, when we'll allow knowledge to come through about how we can become more wise in our day-to-day life, how we can increase our ability to understand things so that we can be better teachers, or how we can become better healers or better facilitators rather, or intuitives, or whatever it is we do. Really, we're actually doing that automatically when we're doing this sort of work, but there's always room for growth. There's always room to really focus on that more. What do I need to know? What can I have that will help me? What tools can you give me that will help me to pass on something that's going to make it even easier for people to access these levels of consciousness? Or if you're in another kind of job, what can I learn that will bring a really enlightened and evolved perspective to the business that I run, or the school that I work in, or the hospital that I work in, or the way that I don't know, I drive the truck I drive. Whatever it is, whoever you are, whatever you do, it's a great day to connect with higher levels of education. And the message of the card, the final message is, drawing this card suggests that you open yourself to new learnings by relaxing and absorbing information rather than in the old logical structured way. Alternatively, it may be time for you to teach others. In this case, draw from your own wisdom, not books. So again, yes, it's great to learn a certain amount from books, and these things go in waves and they go in phases, but ultimately the highest learning does come from going beyond the physical, going beyond what anyone else says, and learning how to access those higher levels of consciousness and to make them a part of our daily reality. So there we are. Okay, so lucky dip today. I'm going to go for okay, let's do one for VM46260. Oh gosh, please don't let that ever be someone's actual name. Okay, great. So I am not a number. There you go, VM. Giving and receiving. So everyone needs to know more about giving and receiving. I've said enough about that card in recent days, so I'm going to just, let me just ask how does it apply to you? Right, okay, so somebody's talking about the burden that you're carrying. I don't know whether you're actually aware of it, because to me it looks like an energetic thing. I'm feeling a little bit of a feeling of nausea. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but this is how I often recognize when someone's carrying a lot of someone else's energy. You're carrying a lot of other people's energy, and you need to learn some good cleansing rituals and routines, I'm being told, some clearing techniques, because you will feel less fatigued, you'll feel more able, you'll feel more connected to life. I'm feeling that you're not connected to life. And yeah, that kind of sounds familiar actually from kind of messages before with you. And that's it really, that's all I'm going to say. On the subject of giving and receiving and how I feel that card applies, I would say that it's time for you to learn, first of all, how to detach from the energies of others, how to clear your energy field, and then for you also how to switch off the phone and get into a really quiet place and give to yourself, know when you need to give to yourself, and create a better feeling of balance and harmony. Right, Archangel Michael, ask Archangel Michael to help you with this situation. Perfect. I don't think that really needs very much more explaining, but I'm going to give you, because of course Archangel Michael will help with cleansing, will help with clearing, will help with keeping you, help you to keep out these other energies. And this is the thing that I don't want to keep on and on and on about protection, but when people get scared or they don't like to hear us talk about protection, we're not always talking about protection from things. We're not always talking about you getting into a place where you expect things because things to happen and then they become a self-fulfilling prophecy. We are talking about when you are an empath, you will understand how it feels to be walking through the world absorbing energy, because that is a part of your journey. It's a part of what you're here to do, because you're actually taking those energies on and you are helping to clear them from the planet. So it's not a bad thing, but sometimes you need to be able to shield yourself against taking in too much of it, and to be able to learn how to do this with awareness. So in time, if you decide to develop your healing gifts, you develop your gifts as an empath, then, right, I've just been told that you've already begun to, but you lose confidence. However, when we do this, what we learn is when to shield ourselves, when to clear ourselves, when to open up and allow divine love to flow through us to all things and all beings, and when to go inside and to restore ourselves. So this is the journey that you're currently on. Ask Archangel Michael to help you with that, and you will be okay. And the prayer says, Archangel Michael, thank you for assisting me with, and then describe the situation. Please help me be filled with faith and peace at all times. Okay, so faith and peace, because sometimes we can get too carried away with not understanding that we can be at peace with all of these things if we allow them to flow through us more. Okay, that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow.